You are listening to Book Clips, a podcast where authors and narrators expose you to excerpts from different books. You can find the show and more by searching for The Lesbian Talk Show on iTunes, Podbean or Stitcher.
Unexpected. Chapter 6. The next morning, Becca was getting Jake ready for school while he finished breakfast. She closed up his sandwich box and popped it in his backpack. "Is there anything special you would like? Granny Sadie's going into town." Jake let his spoon crash down into his cereal bowl and said, "I'd like lollipops, just like Dale." "You know I don't like you to eat sweets, Jake. They'll rot your teeth." Jake didn't reply, but just got down from the table and took his backpack from Becca. "Mummy, I was sure Dale would come back. She promised me she wouldn't disappear." Becca saw hurt in Jake's eyes. This was exactly what Dale had been talking about. The promise she'd made that Becca wasn't allowing her to keep. Yet another thing for her to feel guilty about. She'd sent Dale away. "I'm sure she's very busy, Jake. She runs a big business. Besides, I think it's better this way." Jake hugged her and placed his hand on her baby bump. "I thought she would help us, Mummy." Becca let out a sigh. She couldn't do right from doing wrong these days. "Let's get you on the bus, Pooh Bear." Jake got his things and they walked down to the end of the driveway. After a hug and a kiss, Jake got on the bus and it drove off. Just as Becca waved the school bus away, a van pulled around the corner into her driveway. On the side it said, "McGuire's Motors." Becca's heart started to beat faster. Why did I agree to this? Dale jumped out of the van with a huge smile on her face. "Morning, hen. I waited around the corner until I saw the school bus leave." "Thank you." Dale was back to her jeans and t-shirts today, but in a way Becca preferred that to her formal shirt and tie. This suited her much more. It was just Dale. "I wanted to prove that I could follow your rules," Dale said. "I appreciate that. I'll unlock the garage for you and you can drive up." "Nae bother. I'm going to fix the door knocker I broke too. Do you want to get in the van and I'll drive you up?" Dale was much too full of energy and smiles for this time in the morning. "I'll walk." Dale's smile faltered and then she said, "Oh, okay. Speaking of knockers, you'll like this one. Knock knock." "Excuse me?" Becca had not heard someone say that to her since she was a child, and it certainly wasn't appropriate now. "A knock knock joke. You're supposed to say, 'Who's there?'" "Why?" Becca said flatly. Dale sighed. "Because it's funny. You do laugh, don't you?" "No, I don't have a sense of humour," Becca said coldly. "I've never needed one." "Well, I'll say it for you. Knock knock. Who's there? Cows go." Dale was completely insane. Becca gave in. "Okay, I'll play Cows Go Who?" "No, silly. Cows go moo." Dale started laughing, but Becca was unmoved. Dale seemed to have the maturity of an 8-year-old. "Get it? Cows go moo." "I'll unlock the garage for you," Becca said, and turned to walk away. But Dale shouted behind her, "Oh, come on, that was funny." Becca was annoyed that Dale thought this was all a big joke. Letting Dale come here was the biggest risk she'd taken in years, and she was not going to laugh about it. "I'm not going to give up until I make you smile, Becca," Dale said before getting into her van. Good luck with that, thought Becca. At 11, Becca made a mug of tea, took a packet of biscuits from the cupboard and went out to the garage. As much as she was uncertain if Dale should be here or not, she wasn't ungrateful. When she approached the garage, she could hear Dale before she saw her. Was she really singing what Becca thought she was? Becca opened the door, and Dale was in mid-dance with a wrench in place of a microphone. She had to physically stop herself from laughing. Dale, caught in the act, stopped dead and lowered the wrench slowly, while her cheeks went pink. I was working. It's just my favourite song. I like Britney's music. It makes me want to dance," Dale babbled. Dale had on blue oil-stained overalls tied off at the waist, and her t-shirt revealed a Celtic-style tattoo on her bicep. Her whole look was dishevelled and sexy, and Becca had the insane urge to go over and run her hands through her thick, messy styled hair. "Get a grip," Becca told herself. "I brought you tea and biscuits." Dale looked delighted that she was being kind to her, and that made Becca feel guilty. Was she that cold to people? But then she reminded herself what being open and friendly had cost her once before. Never again. Dale took the tea and looked at the packet of chocolate-covered biscuits with a smile. "You're giving me the posh biscuits? You must have liked my joke this morning." Becca didn't quite know what to say to that. Posh biscuits? They're just biscuits. "When I was wee, we called the chocolate ones posh biscuits, because my ma only brought out the chocolate ones if the priest was coming to visit, or if we had visitors. Me and my sister used to steal them off the plate and blame Father Benedict." There was something so innocent and childlike about Dale McGuire. It was hard to keep her distant persona intact without laughing. All of the adults she had ever mixed with were serious professionals. Dale was something completely new to her. "Well, I can assure you that it's just the biscuits I had open, and that's why you're getting them." Dale leaned against the car and took a sip of her tea. "I suppose for a posh girl like you, posh biscuits are an everyday thing." That name annoyed Becca a touch. After all, she was sure Dale had much, much more money in the bank than she'd had in a long, long time. "I'm not posh. Look around you. The place is falling apart at the seams." "It doesn't matter what your surroundings are or how much money you have. It's just who you are, and you, Becca, are a classy lady." Becca didn't quite know how to respond to that, so she changed the subject. "How long do you think this will take?" Dale shrugged. She didn't particularly want to give a time frame, because then Becca would know when she would be leaving, and she wanted to spin this out as long as she could and get to know Becca a bit better. "Depends on how often I can get here to work. My manager Sammy is covering for me, but there are some things at work I need to do." "Please don't neglect your own business on my account." "I won't. Sammy is my best friend and more than capable of running most things without me. No, I need to change the exhaust, get a few more parts, possibly a few weeks." "Okay, just remember you don't have to do this." Dale put down her mug on her closed toolbox and took a step towards Becca. She was dying to ask about the baby. The baby bump that Becca rested her hand on attracted her like a beacon, and she wanted to know everything about it. "How are you feeling, Becca? You know, with the baby and everything." As soon as she mentioned the baby, Becca started to physically clam up and pull away. "I'm fine. I just need to look after myself. If you don't mind, I need to get back to my studio." "Studio?" Dale asked. "I have a photography studio in my attic. If you need anything, just let me know. But you need to go before Jake gets home after 3. "I will, I promise. Thanks for the tea." Dale was going to have to work really hard to get through the hard outer shell Becca kept around herself. But she would, no matter what. Jenny Frame, Unexpected.
This was an episode of Book Clips. Check out the show notes for more on this book. And it would be great if you would rate the show and subscribe to the Lesbian Talk Show podcast channel for more woman-centered content. If you are an author of lesbian fiction, then send us your reading. You can find out how on thelesbiantalkshow.com/reading.